Okay, we're here. It's a Thursday. Okay. So here we'll go over some important TCM paperwork. So first off, right here, we have the independent booth agreement. This is available on our cookie program website. It is the agreement that you will complete if your troop is interested in doing any independent booths. So you'll print a copy, you'll take it with you to go and ask the business, and then they will write in the dates and times and all of their info and then sign it. That's really important. So you have an authorized signature of someone from the business saying, yes, you can hold a booth there. So you don't need to submit this agreement to us. It is for your troop and your troop volunteers to have when they're at the booth. But instead you will submit the info in eBuddy so that then we can go and approve it. So when we mean approve, we just mean that we will verify that the girls can legally patronize that business and that it's not in close proximity to any other booth. So definitely, we do encourage troops a lot this year to do the independent booths if you're interested, and I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. But that is available right now on our webpage so that if your troop wants to get a jump on any independent booths, it is there for you. So then we have a troop-to-troop transfer receipt. So that is going to be used if you transfer any cookies from one troop to another, and then that transfer is entered into eBuddy. So your CCM or product program will have copies of these. So just let us know if you do end up needing them, and we can definitely provide those to you. So then we have some end of program forms, documents, paperwork, and I'll kind of loosely go over them, definitely because we will go over them more in detail at our other webinars. But we have a delinquent account report and an ACH adjustment form. And so those two are used if you have any parent or guardians that owe your troop money. And so basically we will be doing 3 ACH sweeps throughout the program. And so right before the ACH sweep, we will send you an email with your sweep amount. So basically the amount we're going to pull from your troop bank account. And if for whatever reason your troop does not have that money collected, you haven't collected all the money from parents, it's not available in your bank account, then you will complete an ACH adjustment form to just let us know that we need to adjust our ACH sweep amount. And then the delinquent account report fits in with it for the last sweep. So if you have any parents who are at the end of the program, they are past due on the amount that they owe the troop, then you will complete that to protect your troop's proceeds and to also direct responsibility towards that parent or guardian. So those are two really important forms. And so definitely keep those in mind if you do have any parents who owe your troop money at the end of the program. And then the last thing is our end of program report. And so that will be a report that you'll complete online after you submit your rewards in eBuddy. And so we will, it is linked, it's online, we'll link it in our TCM emails to you. And then it will also be linked on our webpage. So that will be there for you to complete at the end of the program. Okay, so then here is girl and parent specific paperwork. So first off, we have our receipts, which are the most important paperwork you will probably ever have. A signed money or product receipt is required for every single transaction you do. So anytime anybody exchanges cookies or money, even if it's just Sally is picking up for Lisa and then goes and gives the cookies to Lisa, even that Sally and Lisa need to complete a receipt. So no matter what, if money or product exchanges hands, you have to complete a receipt, as receipts provide proof that responsibility of product or money was transferred from one adult to the other. So basically, if you don't have a receipt, we have no way to prove it happened. And so it is really important to us that you always complete a receipt no matter what. And then I say like this, if you complete a receipt and you don't end up needing it, then you can just tear it up and throw it away. But if you don't complete a receipt and you need it, there is nothing you can do to fix that. And so definitely we provide you with 2 to 3 receipt booklets. Our CCMs would tell us that we probably give out too many receipts, but it is really important to us that you have a receipt booklet for any type of money or product transaction. And then the other thing is the girl permission slip. So an online or paper permission slip is required for every single girl who participates in the cookie program. So we'll show you a bit what your roster will look like in eBuddy, but a good rule of thumb is if you have any missing girls in eBuddy, it is really important to verify that they have completed that girl permission slip. Otherwise, we do not have any clue that they are interested in participating. So that is required for all girls, in addition to a current 2020 to 2021 membership. So girls have to have those two things in order to participate in the program. Okay, so here are some important reminders for parents and girls. We do recommend that troops either in December or in January, if your troop is going to wait to begin a little bit later, that you host an informational meeting to outline program expectations and due dates. So definitely, I do encourage you to watch our past webinar from October for starting the cookie program off right, as we really did outline what you should cover in the initial meeting, tools to make it easier for you, and tools to make it virtual. So definitely watch that. But here are just a couple quick reminders. So all parents must complete that online or online or paper permission slip, and have a 2021 girl membership. So again, those are both required for any girl interested in participating. Another really, really important reminder is that cookies cannot be returned to the troop, community, or council. So every year we do get asked this question, and every year we'll say no. So it is really important to us that y'all understand that any cookies checked out cannot be returned to us or council. And then also new this year, we have our grade level specific cookie program family meeting guides. So this is a guide for making your family meeting about cookies really easy. And again, it also has tips and tricks for making it virtual. So they are available online on GSUSA's website, and we are working on putting them on our website currently under the Cookies Plus section. So definitely, if you need any good points to start off from or some inspiration for your own meeting, definitely check out those new family meeting guides. So next up, we have cookie finances. So I'm going to talk a little bit slower in this one because sometimes it gets a little confusing, and I'll definitely stop at the end of this one if you have any questions. So troops have two options when it comes to how they'll handle cookie finances. So the first option is troops with a council-approved troop bank account and with an ACH authorization form on file can deposit 100% of money into their troop bank account, and they will be ACH swept by the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas on our 3 ACH sweep days. And the troop will keep their proceeds in their troop bank account throughout the program and at the end of the program. So that is our ideal setup. Troops deposit to their own bank account. We sweep out of the troop. The troop keeps the proceeds from the very beginning. That is the least amount of work for our department. That is our ideal situation for every troop. However, we understand that we do have new troops, or sometimes troops will have issues with their bank accounts or their money managers. So a troop without a council-approved bank account or without an ACH authorization form, those troops must then complete an agreement to deposit, which is just an alternative agreement form that says that you'll deposit to a council bank account. So it can either be used as a placeholder to get your troop bank account up and running, or it can be used as an alternative to your troop bank account. So either way, the agreement to deposit is an alternative form that we developed so that new troops could also participate in the cookie program without that bank account requirement. So those troops would then deposit 100% of money to a Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas bank account with the bank that they select on the agreement to deposit, and follow the same deposit percentages and dates as the ACH sweep. The main difference is those troops they don't keep their proceeds, so they do deposit 100% into a council bank account, and they will receive their proceeds the troop will not receive their proceeds until the troop bank account is active and until after the program audit is complete. So that we do have to do some extra steps to get you your proceeds. So you would see why we would prefer you to have your troop bank account. But if you don't, if you're a new troop, if you have an issue, if you've received our lovely email letting you know that you have an issue, then definitely talk with your money managers. Consider the agreement to deposit as either a placeholder for your troop bank account or as an alternative to your troop bank account. And then for IRGs, IRGs must complete an agreement to deposit in order to participate. So we do not have an alternative for that. They must complete one. And then they must deposit 100% of money to the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas bank account that they select on the agreement to deposit, and follow those same deposit percentages and dates as the ACH sweeps. IRGs will then receive their proceeds from the IRG fund that is held at the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas via the IRG fund application. Okay, so does anyone have any questions regarding troop finances? And if you have questions regarding your specific troop, you can always shoot us an email to customer care and we can always verify your troop bank account status. But I definitely encourage you to also work with your money managers throughout the program, especially because you will have to kind of know what the balance of the troop bank account is before each ACH sweep. Okay, awesome. If anyone has any questions, definitely feel free to drop them in the chat and we can always return to that slide later. So for booth scheduling, as I mentioned before, booths can either be independent or council-sponsored booths. Both are done, facilitated in eBuddy. So independent booths can begin on Wednesday, January 27th, or when a troop receives when the troop receives cookies and the troop booth is approved in eBuddy. So those are set up and created by troops and girls, but still require approval through eBuddy. It can be any business not on the council-sponsored list. However, that doesn't include Walmarts and HEBs that are not listed. So those are still off limits. You cannot go and approach them even if they are not listed. For approval for independent booths, TCMs will complete that agreement, the independent booth agreement that I showed earlier with the business manager or owner, and they'll submit the info in eBuddy for approval. So like I said before, you do not have to submit that form to us unless requested, but you must keep a copy with the volunteer at the booth site. All independent booths entered in eBuddy will be either approved or denied, and we'll let you know why we deny them if we do. And then those troops will be located on the Cookie Finder app for customers to locate. So that being said, if you set up an independent booth and you decide that your troop can't make it, you still have to release that booth or let us know so that we can release it so that no customers get upset. And also, another good point is if you plan on hosting a residential booth or a booth in a residential location, I know a lot of people will do drive-through booths in their neighborhoods, then you can send us those via customer care's email so that we can approve them off of eBuddy and have them not listed in the Cookie Finder so that you don't have a bunch of random customers going to your neighborhood, especially if it's really centered towards the people living in your neighborhood. But regardless, we do require independent booths to be approved. One, so that we can, kind of have an idea of what type of booths are going on out there, and two, so that we can get insurance for all of our booth locations, as all of our girls are covered by our liability insurance. So then for council-sponsored booths, those will run from Friday, February 5th to Sunday, February 28th. We will have 3 rounds of scheduling in eBuddy, and then all booths will open for the remainder of the season on Monday, January 4th. So we do designate booths as premier and non-premier, and the only real difference is popularity and volume of sales. So our premier booths are our Walmarts, our HEBs, our Lowe's, our Bass Pro Shops, and our Sam's Club. So those have historically all been our premier locations, and then our non-premier locations have just been all other booth locations. So all claimed booths will be listed in the eBuddy Finder again for customers to find. So it is super, super important that all booths are unclaimed if you plan on not going. So again, if your troop sees that you're not going to be able to make a booth, we ask that you unclaim that within 24 to 48 hours so that we don't get any upset customers, and so that if another troop wanted that booth, they can take it. So check out page 17 in the TCM Companion for more info on our booth guidelines, more info on the limits for each of the booth scheduling. It has a lot of other really great info as to tips and tricks for making booths go smoother with your troop. So a new thing for this year to help us pivot for COVID is we will have drive-through, and then we're also encouraging troops to have virtual booths. So we are planning on having drive-through booths available in eBuddy, and so we have a nice little graphic right here of what we're expecting that they'll look like, and how we'll designate drive-through versus non-drive-through. But then we also encourage you to work with your girls and local businesses in your area to find independent booth spots that will work for you and for them. So definitely we encourage you to think of drive-through booth opportunities. We've heard a lot of really great stories from other councils where their troops have done some really cool drive-throughs. So we definitely encourage you to get with your girls, get with your parents and guardians, and have them take control over the independent booths that your troop does, so that they can feel more comfortable with the booth location and the booth type. So when you are thinking about independent booths, girl safety is the #1 priority. So with drive-through, definitely think those out, especially it's a lot of moving cars, you're out and about. So definitely keep girl safety in mind when you are thinking of possible drive-through booth locations. And then have a practice drive-through booth at a troop meeting before your booths begin, especially if your troop is interested in doing drive-through. Just make sure all girls kind of have a game plan in their head and that they're familiar with the setup, especially because it might be new to some girls and some families. And then we will have coming soon Girl Scout guidelines for drive-through cookie booths, contactless cookie sales, and then also virtual cookie booths. So definitely check those out when we do release those for more inspiration as to how to safely do a drive-through booth, how to safely do a virtual booth, and the other contactless options that your troop might be interested in implementing. So here are some booth guidelines and tips. So before you begin, like I said, have a practice booth at troop meetings, especially if you're planning on doing any drive-through booths. Have girls make a game plan and decide who's taking orders, who's pulling packages, who's accepting payments. Decorate your booths. You can make posters and banners with goals, or check out the booth kits that'll be available on the Resource Center beginning on January 1. And then work with your parents and guardians to find a booth system and schedule that works for everyone. So that is really important. You don't want to have to sign up for a bunch of booths and then release them all. So definitely talk with your parents up front so that you can kind of have a booth system or schedule that everyone is happy with. And then during the cookie booths, plan for weather. So we do live in Texas. Things can get kind of crazy, especially with weather. So definitely as we get into those colder months or the rainy months, make sure that you plan for layers and umbrellas and all of that good stuff. Know that the max for any booth is 4 girls or 2 adults. And then a minimum of at least 1 girl and 1 related adult. So if you do want to keep your booths a little bit smaller this year and reduce it to 1 girl, you can definitely do a booth with 1 girl and then 1 related adult. So it will have to be her parent or guardian. Keep in mind, no tag-alongs are allowed at booths. Those are siblings or friends. So it should just be the girls who are working the booth and the required adults. Unclaim or release any booth sites you will not be using at least 24, preferably 48 hours in advance. So again, this is for to prevent upset customers and so that if another troop wanted that booth, they can still take it. Troops will have 15 minutes to arrive at their scheduled booth site. So again, if a site is unattended and it's 15 minutes into the booth slot, then you can definitely choose to take that booth. So if a troop doesn't show up to the spot next, then definitely feel free to take it. And then this is an opportunity to shine in the community. So definitely we encourage your girls to wear their vest, their membership little tab, or their favorite Girl Scout shirt. So, you know, some girls, especially older girls, they don't necessarily want to wear their vest. So at the minimum, we do definitely encourage girls to wear a favorite Girl Scout shirt. And then also, if you need some extra incentive, the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas, we do have secret shoppers that will randomly visit booth sites and give a special patch out to girls who are wearing their vest, sash, or tunic. So that is just another little secret incentive if you do need to encourage your girls to wear their vest or sash or tunic. And then as always, continue to follow all local government or Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas COVID-19 guidelines. So especially as things continue to change, just making sure that you're following whatever guidelines are being posted in your area to help keep you and your girls safe. Okay, we've come to the new thing. So yay, which actually, let me check the chat real quick. I want to take a pause. Oh, okay. I will return to those later. So new this year, we have a new troop URL, which is, okay, let me back up. You may have questions. So the new troop URL is a digital cookie profile for your troop, and it will be similar to a girl's digital cookie link, but it is credited to the troop instead of a specific girl, and it restricts the customer to just direct shipped or donated orders. So again, it is either, it is both a digital cookie profile for the troop, and it is, you will then have access to a URL or link similar to a girl's digital cookie link, but it just restricts the customer to direct shipped or donated orders. So it can be used for virtual troop cookie booths. However, customers will be limited to just direct shipped or donated orders if you use the troop link, but you can always use girl links as well. It can also be used for accepting credit cards at a booth using the digital cookie mobile app, similar to how a girl can accept credit cards on her digital cookie profile for an in-hand order, very similar to how troops have done it in the past. And then the last thing, which will take no work on your part, except to just set up the site in digital cookie. Troops URLs will be available in the cookie finder during the National Cookie Weekend of Friday, February 19th to Sunday, February 21st, in addition to booth locations. So this just means that beginning on that Friday, if a customer goes into the cookie finder, they will find troop links in addition to cookie booths. However, they will be again limited to just direct shipped or donated orders. So in order to get your link up and running, there are some steps required by the TCM. So the TCM will log into the troop digital cookie profile, which here is kind of a look of what it looks like in digital cookie. They will enter the troop zip code, and they will select a troop site leader. So the troop site leader can only be a troop, be a TCM in eBuddy or a co-leader in eBuddy, which we will provide more communication on how to select a troop site leader who isn't a TCM in the future as soon as we get that process down. But the troop site leader will be responsible for that troop URL link, so they'll be able to access it. And they will have access to the troop profile for digital cookie mobile app orders. So again, what I mean by digital cookie mobile app orders is just the same way a girl can stand with her digital cookie app in her profile and accept, do an in-hand order in front of a customer. Troops will be able to do the exact same thing, but instead of it being credited towards a specific girl up at the very beginning, it'll be credited towards the troop. And then TCMs will credit girls specifically in eBuddy from any sales from that troop URL. So they'll come into the troop URL, and then the TCM can then evenly credit out the girls in eBuddy. So this is kind of what it will look like in eBuddy. So you'll see a fake troop girl listed on your girl roster. However, this will not count as a girl selling, and it will not add to the troop per girl average for rewards or proceeds. So it is just simply a way for eBuddy and Digital Cookie to connect up to each other and to talk to each other. So you will see a troop fake girl in eBuddy, but then the site will be set up in Digital Cookie, and then sales will be allocated by the TCM in eBuddy as like a normal process that if you are returning TCM, you'll probably be familiar with. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about this? And I'm gonna check the chat too. Yes, okay. Okay, I'm gonna answer these real quick. Okay, so for Courtney, all of our girls, for independent cookie booths, can parents do booths individually with their own child near their home or on their side of town? And if so, does every parent in our troop need to get a background check and have an active paid membership? So if it's just gonna be a parent and their own child, they do not need to get a background check and an active paid membership. If it's going to be a parent, their child, and any other girl, then yes, they do need to get a membership and a CBC and any of that. But if it's just going to be them and they're related, they do not need to get a background check and a paid membership for that. So that's true. Question. Oh, perfect. Yep, the cost of, yes, and that is controlled by GSUSA. Kimberly, what's your question?
I'm typing.
Oh, okay.
Or do you just want me to ask you here?
Yeah, go ahead. Just ask me here.
Okay, I'm just curious. On this page here, it says that the Troop URL restricts customer to just direct shipped or donated orders.
Yes.
But then it says we can use it to accept credit cards at the booths.
Yes, and so so the URL or the link. So if let's say I'm the troop leader, I go into my Digital Cookie, I copy my link and I send it to you. You can only select direct shipped or donated orders. Let's say we are at a booth and we're standing in front of each other. I have my phone. I go to the Digital Cookie app. I open the app, and very similar to how a girl would do it in hand in the app, she would select a button to place an in-hand order and do it with the customer face to face. So the URL link itself will be restricted to just direct shipped and donated, but the Digital Cookie profile for the troop will have the option to do in-hand orders.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things we'll have to see.
Exactly. Yes. And I wanted to find a screenshot of what the in-hand button would look like in Digital Cookie, but they've not released any tip sheets or anything like that for that yet. So I'm waiting, and as soon as we do, we're planning on making a tip sheet for troop leaders of how actually they can do that aspect of it for accepting credit cards, and then also really drill into how they credit girls in eBuddy once the orders come through. So we're definitely planning on making a tip sheet to help make this more clear so that you can have it in front of you as you're sitting on eBuddy and in Digital Cookie. Okay.
Miss Emma, this is Ruth.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, so we're doing no Square this year.
So troops can use Square this year. However, due to this and due to the Square transaction fees, we really, really would encourage troops, if they can, to use Digital Cookie, whether it's the troop profile or continuing to do the girl profiles.
Okay, and then with the troop profile, it's going to be not individual, but through the booth sales, right?
So
because I'm not understanding it at all.
Okay, so basically, girls will still have their own profiles in Digital Cookie. This is just an additional profile for you to have as the troop as a whole.
Okay, so there's two separate profiles.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, alrighty.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything?
I have a question, Ms. Emma.
Yes.
It's Emiko, sorry. I'm in my office.
Love it. Oh no, you're cutting out. You're cutting out. Hello?
I just wanted to clarify for the new link that we're doing on our, try typing it.
Yeah, please do.
Hello?
Okay. Feel free to drop it in the chat. I think there's some connection issues, unless I'm the one with the connection issues.
So I have a question. I think this is what we're all trying to ask. When we
Okay.
use the troop URL in the digital cookie at a booth, so we're at a booth and we're doing sales, this will actually go to the troop, not to individual girls, and then we can go and allocate them there. So we can completely bypass Square, not pay any fees. Hallelujah.
Yes, that is, thank you.
Make sure I think that's what we're all trying to home in on, but we're just wanting to make sure this means we can take credit card sales without a fee on the app and it go to the troop, not to individual girls.
Yes, yes. And then it'll be easier to allocate those then to the girls in eBuddy, just as like a normal sale would. Thank you. Okay. I was like, I just need you to explain it for us. So yes, okay, so that would eliminate Square for you, especially with those transaction fees being so much. So let me just real quick go over this. Okay.
Okay, wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So that being said, last year we had used the digital cookie at booths with individual girls and it went to the troops. So the individual girls one is going to the girls' bank account, not the troops' bank account?
So the money will go to the troop bank account, but what we're saying is that I think you're getting a little confused because all money will go to the troop bank account regardless. There's no individual girl bank accounts. It is just that in past, if a girl accepted all credit card payments at a digital cookie, I think what the problem is if you had 4 girls at a booth, how would you transfer out the 4 girls to accept credit cards on the digital cookie app? Like it would just make it so that one girl might have more sales than the other girls. So those are the problems people would normally face. If you're having just one girl at a booth, you probably did not run into that issue. So
I guess that's what we did because we hit COVID in the middle of it and we didn't have anybody grouped together. So I was like, wait, now I'm completely lost.
exactly. Yeah, I think the
Okay.
problem is more when it's like 4 different girls at a booth, for sure.
Okay, now I get it. Thank you.
Okay, no, sorry. Okay, so okay, perfect girl. We share you. Oh, you explained that so well. Can sisters share a digital cookie account? So technically, no, and that is because we put every girl in individually into the site, and then her digital cookie account corresponds with that. So we prefer that every girl have her own individual digital cookie account for our own record keeping and statistics and all of that. Can credit card payment be scanned or typed in? So, Emiko, thank you. We are really, really hoping this year that Digital Cookie will release the OCR, which is the ability to scan a credit card with your phone. Think of it as taking a picture, but not taking a picture. So they told us several times that will be in the Digital Cookie updates for this year. They told us that last year and it wasn't. So we fingers crossed that you will have the scan function in the Digital Cookie app for this year. We've been told multiple times. How will payment be taken? We'll be typing in each card. So again, yeah, like I said, either, typing in as always, but then we've been told several times that the scan feature will be available. Yes. Is there any way to identify payments made this way? For example, if we have a booth going at 2 different locations at the same time, we'll be able to help. Oh, good question. That's a really good question. So we have not been shown, or maybe we have, and I just did a really bad job paying attention, of what it will look like when it goes into eBuddy, and then how that troop leader will then go and distribute out. So I definitely will promise y'all that we will provide a 1-page tip sheet as to how to allocate troop digital cookie sales in eBuddy. So I'm going to hold on that answer until I have a good tip sheet with screenshots for you. Okay, is that a safe feature that customers will feel comfortable taking a picture of their credit card? So again, Rajulin, I know I said picture. It's a really bad word to use. It is not actually a picture. You're using your camera to scan the card of the numbers on the card. It does not save a picture to the any type of server or anything like that. And so GSUSA has explained that really well to us. And so I say picture because it looks like a picture when you're on your phone, but it does not take a picture of them. Okay, so do TCMs need a separate digital cookie account for their child? So you will still have a digital cookie profile for every single girl in your troop regardless. And then in addition to that, you will also have the troop digital cookie profile. So yes, you will have a separate one. And from right here, you will be able to toggle between the two accounts. So they do make it kind of easy if you are the TCM and you do have to toggle between your troop and your girl. Awesome. And then like when you do, okay, perfect. Yes, exactly like when you deposit check on your phone. That is a great example. Will we need a different email for all digital accounts? No, we actually prefer you to have the same email for all of your accounts. It makes it a lot easier on us. And we typically prefer the same email just because then the systems can talk to each other easier. And it makes things less confusing for us when we email you about your troop versus your girl versus everyone else. So.
Well, Miss Emma, I have 2 girls in the troop, and then I'm also the troop cookie manager. So I was wondering if I needed like 3 different accounts, 2 different accounts, or is it fine to just have that one for all 3?
Oh no, you are fine to have for emails. You're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, for emails, yeah, definitely. I would just say to have the same one for all of them, just to make your life a little bit easier.
All right, 10-4.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So if you have any other questions about the troop URL, definitely we'll have another question break at the end. We can come back and hash out anything else y'all want to hash out about this. Okay, we'll continue on. Okay, so I'm going to breeze through this one because then we'll get right into the eBuddy demo, which will probably take about a second hour. So rewards, new for this year, we do have an instant reward patch, or it's a collection of patches for girls to earn as they complete their requirements. So you might have seen it, noticed it in the TCM training, looks something like this. We just got these in, and so we are in the process of distributing them out to your community cookie managers, who will then distribute them out to you for your girls to receive. So there are requirements for each of the little accoutrements that go on the main patch. And so for that, just as girls meet those requirements, you'll pass them out. It's a fun way so that we give y'all a little bit of power, a little bit of ability to reward the girls. And it's also an instant reward so they can have something immediately. Then the reward selections will be made in eBuddy, and you will need to go and submit and do all of that for both the initial and the final rewards. And I'll show you in just a little bit what that looks like in eBuddy. And then an important note is that if you have any go-getter girls or any girls that reach over the 1200 level, cookie credits are not cumulative after those levels. So they do receive a lump sum based on the level that they reach. So 1200, they get 120 cookie credits. 1500, they get 150 cookie credits. So just something to keep in mind is if you have really go-getter girls, just know that they should not select cookie credits. And then rewards will be given to your CCM, and they'll let you know when to come and pick them up from them. And then finally, rewards, if they are not chosen in eBuddy, we do have a default option. So definitely just keep that in mind. All of the default options are marked with a little asterisk. So right now, as you're doing your program prep, a lot of TCMs will use the family guide for girls to mark which reward they would want at each level, and so that they can also, you know, kind of goal set. And so definitely I would recommend you use the family guide for that, and then collect them at the end of the program so that then you can enter those in eBuddy really easily. Okay, so we're gonna get right into the eBuddy demo. So eBuddy access, you will get access, most likely, most people will get it on Wednesday, November 18th. So that is in less than a week. So definitely don't try to internalize all of this right now. I would recommend almost that you come back to this section, rewatch this when you do get into eBuddy, especially if you have questions about how any of the tabs work. In addition, I also say eBuddy is pretty forgiving. There is not much that you can do in the site that we can't undo. So once you get into eBuddy, definitely click around, get familiar, check things out, check out your girl list, all of that good stuff. Okay, so first off, how you will get access to eBuddy. So eBuddy, again, is the online system created by Little Brownie Bakers, and it is used by Troop Cookie managers to track sales, payments, inventory, and also it will be where you sign up for booth slots and you submit your rewards. So girls and parent and guardians will not have access to this site. Instead, they will have their digital cookie. So this is just for Troop Cookie managers and community cookie managers. So here's the eBuddy URL, ebuddy.littlebrownie.com. This is going to be the same URL, so definitely I recommend that you favorite or you bookmark it on your phone and computer so that you have easy access to it. And like I said before, eBuddy will open to Troop Cookie managers on Wednesday, November 18th. So at that time, you can access the site really in two ways. So either you'll receive an email from the site inviting you to come join, which means you were added in by us. Or if you know you're in, you know you got all your requirements met, and you're returning a Troop Cookie manager, you can always come to the eBuddy page and log in using the forgot my password option. So it's just you're already in the site, you just need a password to link. So that is another option if you are a returning TCM. For Troop Cookie managing on the go, eBuddy also has an eBuddy app, and it has all of the functions of the website. You can view and register your girls, you can see and edit your Troop's initial order, you can view all of your Troop's booths, you can sign up for booths. So if you're out and about during those booth scheduling rounds and you still wanted to get in, definitely you can hop on the app. You can view and submit initial rewards and final rewards. And you can view your Troop sales report. So the app is really, really great. It has a lot of really great tools, especially if you're on the go. But then also we do encourage you to hop on that desktop version every once in a while so that you're familiar with that as well. Let's see if there's anything. Oh. Okay, so first off, we have our dashboard. So the dashboard has a lot of really great information right here at the beginning. So we have our past and current sales. Here you'll have messages from council or your CCM, upcoming dates, your CCM contact info. So if you need to get in contact with them, it's right there front and center. And then also we have our cookie reorder locations, and there is a handy link that should be on this page taking you to the VIPE training. So if you are returning from past years, maybe this might sound familiar to you, but for 2021, we will be requiring our Troop Cookie managers to take the online VIPE training in eBuddy. That is kind of on a little separate site. And it'll go over cookie resources and booth etiquette. So when you access eBuddy for the first time, we will have a little prompt thing for you to complete the VIPE training. So just kind of keep that in mind. Look out for that little button there on your dashboard when you do get in so that you can get that taken care of. So we'll continue on the navigation bar up top. And the next tab we have is our contact tab. So this page will list your Troop's Troop Cookie Manager info, where you can come right here at the beginning and confirm and edit any of your contact info listed. And then also just a thing to keep in mind, it sometimes gets people confused, but in eBuddy, TCMs are called Troop Cookie chairs. So in eBuddy, you will be called a Troop Cookie chair, but in our council, we do call y'all Troop Cookie managers. But just so no one gets confused. So then on the settings tab, first and foremost, your bank info will not be listed. So don't freak out when you come here and it's blank. We do not use this section in eBuddy. We do this internally. So you will not see any of your Troop bank account info listed. If your Troop or IRG signs an agreement to deposit, it will be listed here. And if your Troop chooses to opt out of rewards and you meet those requirements, it will also be listed here. The Troop Cookie Manager can also add Troop Cookie Pickup only users on this page. And an important note for 2021 is that everyone picking up at a North Central warehouse, or picking up at North Central warehouse, must be a Troop Pickup only user in eBuddy or as a TCM. So if you have any parents that you foresee helping out the Troop and picking up cookies for the troop, go ahead and make them a troop cookie pickup only user so that you don't have to worry about it when that time comes. And then a little bit later on, I'll show you how you would go about entering an order to pick up at the North Central Cookie Warehouse. So the next tab we have right here is the girls tab. So this is your girl roster. These are the girls that have a completed permission slip and have the 2020 to 2021 membership. So if you don't see a girl listed on this page when you first get into the site, definitely make sure that she has met both of those requirements. Otherwise, that is probably why she's not in there. In addition, it does take us about 2 to 3 business days to process paper and online girl permission slips from when we receive them. So if you have a parent that goes and does the girl permission slip, you know, the night before, and she's still not showing the next morning, it is a manual process that is done by our department. And so it does take us about 2 to 3 days to process a girl permission slip and get her uploaded in eBuddy and in Digital Cookie. And then like we showed before, your troop URL or your fake girl will show on this page. And so it'll look something like that. And so that is, just keep that in mind when you see that listed, that is just your fake troop URL girl that then links over into Digital Cookie. And again, like we mentioned before, the TCM must set the zip code and select a troop site leader in Digital Cookie in order to use your troop URL. And the troop URL will not count as a girl selling. So it will not add to your troops per girl average for any rewards or proceeds. So here's the initial order tab. So for this, you'll see all of your girls listed. And then in addition to that, what you'll do is you'll come and click on a girl, the boxes will open and you'll be able to add any in-person paper orders. Another thing to note is that Digital Cookie girl delivered orders before the initial order will automatically move themselves into eBuddy. And so again, those are girl delivered orders that have been approved by parents in Digital Cookie. Those will move over into eBuddy and add to the girl's initial order total. In addition to that, you will see down here at the bottom that you will have some extra packages during your initial order pickup. So that is just initial orders are placed in full cases. So if any of your order isn't a full case, we will have some additional packages that your troop will be expecting to make those a full case. So those additional cookies can be used for cookie booths if you're starting right at the very beginning. You can just distribute more to girls if they are interested in doing direct sales. But in addition to that, you can add a conservative cookie booth or booth cookie order if you think your troop is going to do independent cookie booths right there at the beginning. So you can add a conservative cookie booth, a conservative order of cookies for booths. However, note that you will get some extra packages as well automatically based on what your order is. And then just going to repeat it one more time. There will be automatically listed girl delivered digital cookie orders that are approved by parents. So emphasis on approved by parents. If orders are not approved by parents, then they will not flow over into eBuddy for the girl's initial order. So these orders are due on Sunday, January 10th. But if you do have any edits to make, you are able to submit those to your CCM or to the product program department up until Tuesday, January 12th. Oh, hello. Perfect. Okay, next slide. So following right in hand with initial delivery or initial order, you have your delivery tab. So this is the tab where you'll select your troop's initial order pickup location, time, and date. Delivery assignments are confirmed on Friday, January 15th. But before this date, we will work with our delivery agent to set our delivery schedule. And in order to help ensure the delivery is completed in a timely manner with not a lot of big gaps in between, we may adjust your delivery time. So just keep that in mind, especially when you're scheduling. You will see that other spots have been claimed. So if there is a large gap between, we may need to adjust that delivery date and time frames in order to just shorten those gaps. It is also really important that you wait until Friday, January 15th to come back to this page. so that we can work with our delivery agents to shore up our schedule. But in addition to that, new this year, we will have a contactless signature for initial order delivery via a text code that will be listed on this delivery tab. So after you go, you select your delivery time and location and all of that. We work with the delivery agent, we get everything set, and then when you return back on Friday, that January 15th, or any time before your pickup, you will then see a text code and a number to text. So we're working on also having these text codes added to an email that we're going to send to you. We're working on having them added to the bubble sheet. So we're trying to find other solutions if you don't make it back on this page. But it is really important for us, and it'll help you be more prepared if you do make a plan to come back to this page and go ahead and print it out, so that one, you definitely know when your delivery date and time is and location, and two, you have access to your text code and the phone number that you will then need to text at the delivery station. So it is really important for us. We'll definitely send reminders on this since it is so brand new, but just to keep in mind, this is a new addition that Little Brownie Bakers has given us, and we're really excited to utilize it. So here's the Girl Orders tab. This is where you will come to allocate cookies out to girls. And so I'll kind of explain a little bit more of what that means. So on this tab, you'll be able to click on a girl. It will open a page that looks like this, and you'll be able to add transactions, add payments, print it out if you need it, and then definitely save it. Most important button. So this is kind of what it looks like, and we'll kind of walk through the various transaction or payments that'll be listed on this page. So the first one that we have is manually entered payments and transactions by the TCM. So this will include any non-initial order in-person paper orders. So for initial order, you'll submit that on the initial order tab. But after the initial order, if a girl needs any additional cookies, this is where you'll come to allocate those to her. This is where you'll come to allocate girl delivered digital cookie orders after the initial order. So before the initial order, those cookies will automatically move into eBuddy, but after the initial order, those will not automatically move into eBuddy. And then manually entered booth sales. So I'll kind of talk about what the booth sale recorder is a little bit later, but if you choose to manually enter any booths, those will also appear here. So here's a really great example of a TCM from past years. So the TCM added in these comments, which would then correspond with their receipt numbers. And then you see the cookies listed and the payments listed. So this is a really good example. It's just a payment. We see the payment. It's a pickup and a payment. We see the cookies and we see the payment. So that is a really good example of how these transactions can be entered into eBuddy. The next one is our digital cookie orders. So before the initial order is submitted on Sunday, January 10th, you will see girl delivered, which will just show as money, and then as cookies in the initial order. And then you'll also see donated and shipped orders as both money and cookies, so that the girl is credited for the money and the cookies. After the initial order, the girl delivered orders will only show as money, and that is because those cookies are being allocated by the TCM. So you will come and manually enter them up here, but then the payment will show down here. And then also donated and shipped orders will continue to come in as both money and cookies. So here's a really great example. We have a donated order. It was one in the gift of caring column, which is perfect, $4, perfect. And we see it across the board. We see the payment came in, we see the cookies came in. We have a shipped order, so a direct shipped out to a customer. 4 cookies, $16. The cookies came in, the money came in, perfect. And then the last is girl delivery. So we have girl delivery. We don't have any cookies because the TCM allocated the cookies to the girl up in here. But we do see the payment right here. So a combination of allocating the cookies here, payment here, the girl is set. And then the last set of transactions you will see in here are booth sales from the booth sale recorder. So these, I'll kind of show you what that tab looks like and how you enter those in just a bit. But these will be any sales that you enter on that side of eBuddy. They can't be changed on this page, but they can be changed in the booth sale recorder. So if you need to change any of the grayed out stuff from the booth sale recorder, you'll have to go over there to make any changes. I'm going to take a quick pause because this always gets people the most confused. Does anyone have any questions about this page? Awesome. We're going to keep on keeping on. Oh, we're not going to keep on keeping on? Oh, we did. Oh, we switched. Okay, so this is the transaction page. This transaction page, you will really use it for troop-to-troop transfers or pending order submissions. So, and when we mean by pending order, we mean placing an order from pickup from a reorder location. So first off, we have our troop-to-troop transactions. You will use that handy receipt I mentioned earlier, enter in the info, and then you'll be good to go, and both troops will have a little line on their transaction page, either showing the cookies being removed or showing the cookies being added. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like a little bit later on your sales report page. And then also, this is where you'll enter pending orders for pickup. So for 2021, like I mentioned before, everyone picking up from the North Central warehouse must be in eBuddy as a TCM or as a pickup only user. So that is due to COVID-19 and us trying to reduce the number of people in the warehouse at a specific time. So just keep that in mind that you will have to submit an order in eBuddy for any pickups from the North Central warehouse location. In addition to that, you will select a pickup date and time. And again, for 2021, we will be requiring you to honor the date and time that you pick. So that means that the date and time you select on this page for your order pickup will be the date and time that we expect you to come to pick up your order. So we aren't as lax as in previous years where you could just place it whenever and show up whenever. This year, it will be kind of like HEB curbside where we require you to actually come on the date and time that you list. In addition to this, I kind of just skimmed over it, but this page will also show cookie reorders, digital cookie payments, ACH sweeps, and deposits made to council. But besides all of that, this page will mainly be for any troop-to-troop transfers and for entering pending orders for pickups. So here's the cookie exchange page. This page is used for troops to get rid of excess or to find available cookies in your area. So you will be able to update the packages that you have for exchange or removing the packages that you have depending on what you need. And then in addition to that, you can hover over the listed emails to view the zip code of the TCM listed. So those are kind of some helpful tools, especially if you have any additional cookies towards the end or in the middle that you just foresee that your troop isn't going to be able to get off your hands. And then we have the rewards tab. So this is the tab where all TCMs will come to submit, select, initial, and final rewards. So here it is what the page will look like when you come and verify and submit your initial rewards, which that submit button is super important. And then in addition to that, you will also have access to girl reports, which you'll be able to use in order to distribute out rewards to girls. And then while submitting final rewards, please don't forget to enter the number of free additional patches for your troops down at the bottom of the screen. So a lot of people will forget this year after year. So it's just a friendly reminder that we do have free additional patches for TCMs to reward out to their girls. And so for this, you'll just come and enter the number of patches that you need. So the requirements for all of those are in your TCM companion, and it is on my honor. So we just ask that if you have a troop of 16, you don't enter that you need 30 patches and that you give it to the correct girls. So that is there at the bottom. And then in addition to that, if your troop is planning on opting out, there are additional requirements and a form for your troop to complete. But opting out troops will still get patches. So if your troop has plans to opt out, definitely check out our form, which is available on our website right now. And keep in mind that you will still have to come to this page and submit your reward order to get your patches for your girls. Yay. Okay, so here is the booth sites tab. So this tab has a lot of really great things. So when you come here, there will be a little drop down here that will then have different options. So you'll have council sales, my sales, and record sales. So we'll kind of go through each of these options available. So the first one is this council sales. So these are council sponsored booth sales. They are divided out by city, and then once you click on the city, you'll be able to go by each location and each time. On Monday, January 4th, all booths will open up for the remainder of the season, and there will be no limits placed on how many slots you can select. However, we expect all TCMs to be kind and courteous of our fellow Girl Scouts, troops, and TCMs, and to not book the entire day, and to not book more than 2 consecutive slots at any booth location. If a booth is full, you can choose to be notified if slots open up by clicking this little notify slot button. And also, if your troop is not able to make a booth slot, you must release it within 24, preferably again 48 hours, so that other troops can use that booth slot. And so that we don't get any upset customers that are trying to use the cookie finder to find a cookie booth. So every year we get multiple calls and emails from upset customers who are driving around San Antonio looking for a booth location that they see listed in the cookie finder. It happened to me personally when I was in Austin. I was very upset. So I can imagine if I was upset at another council that we definitely have upset customers. So definitely, if you perceive that your troop is not going to be able to make a booth location, release that booth, unclaim it. There is a nice little release button on your dashboard that makes it super easy for you to do it. So please release those booths if you cannot make it. I cannot emphasize that anymore. We get so many upset people every year. So the next section on this page is the My Sales. So this is where you will come to enter in your independent booths or to see any of the ones that have been approved or denied. So you will use this page to enter in all of the information so that you can add it. And then we will either come in and provide a reason for approval or a reason for denial. Like I mentioned a million times over already, you will complete this independent booth agreement with the business, and they'll provide that authorized signature down at the bottom. And then it's your responsibility to make sure that a copy of this agreement is with every volunteer who is then at that booth location, so that they do get any questions from any business owners, customers, anyone who wants to challenge them. They have a authorized form with a signature there at their disposal. Again, you do not have to submit this agreement form to us. Just enter the information in eBuddy, and then, like I mentioned before, have a copy with that parent. So, and then the last section on this page is the record sales. So this is the booth sale recorder that I mentioned once before. This page has some great options. So you can select all girls if you just want to, distribute to all, or you can select the couple of girls that work the booth. And then you can either distribute evenly or you can distribute based on the number of packages each girl sold. So this is a really great tool to help record booths a little bit easier. And the payments and cookies are automatically recorded under the troop and Girl Scouts in that girl order page. So definitely we encourage you to use this to enter booth sales. And we did do an incentive last year based on entering booth sales in the booth sale recorder. So I would just say it's a good rule of thumb to just use this. It makes your life easier. And if we do have incentives based off of it, then you at least know that you were using it throughout the program. I'll take a coffee sip. Okay, so this is the payments tab. Just kind of bringing your attention to it. However, there's nothing that you will do on this page. So you will not be able to enter payments. You, as a TCM, don't have that responsibility. We do it at our council level. But this page will list digital cookie payments, ACH sweeps, and council deposits if you are depositing to a council bank account. Again, only PPD or council will enter payments on this page, and you will not be required to enter any payments or anything like that on this page. Instead, any payments made to the troop on behalf of parents, those will be entered in the Girl Orders tab with that Add a Payment button. So then we have our sales report page. So this page probably has the most amount of good info for your troop. And I would highly recommend that at the end of the program, you print this page to have as a record for how your troop did during the program. So I'm going to kind of go through what each little thing would mean that you might encounter on this page. So first off, you will see your initial order. You will see your initial order listed. As well as any reorders. So those will kind of show like this. And we will have digital cookie orders. You will be able to tell those by the little dock. And troop to troop transfers. So if you do any troop to troop transfers, they will also show here. You'll see this one was removing cookies. We got another one down here. But they will be indicated with a T and then the troop number that you transferred with. And then we also have our gift of caring cookies. So that total will be compiled there at the bottom. And then on the payment side, you will see digital cookie girl delivered orders, which you see they have a bunch. Girl digital cookie shipped orders. And you'll see your ACH sweeps listed. If you are a troop depositing to council or an IRG, your deposits will then be listed like this. With the transaction number and then the initials of the product program staff member that processed your payment. In addition to that, down at the bottom, you will see kind of this little square. Troops with council approved bank accounts, they will see their proceeds listed. So that is what you should expect that your troop will receive in proceeds at the end or keep in your bank account as proceeds at the end. And then the balance owed should be 0 after the ACH sweeps. And then if you are a troop without a council per bank account or an IRG, your troop proceeds will always be listed as 0, and that is because you're depositing 100% to council. And then the council proceeds there at the top, or basically just what you owe council, that will be $4 a package based on how many cookies you sold. And then the balance owed should be 0 after the Thursday, March 11th, which is the final due date to have money in. So just keep that in mind. If you do use the agreement to deposit or you are an IRG, your proceeds will be listed as 0 throughout the program. And then last but not least, we have our rewards page. So the new really exciting thing about this is that there is a girl and troop reward reports. So it is a one-page format. So if you have experience with how the reward report looked in previous years, it was this crazy long Excel doc. So we've been told this year it is just a one-page format, and it's going to be so much easier for you to print and read and count and sort all of your reward items for your girls and troops. In addition to that, you can download any of these reports in Excel. It is really helpful, especially if your co-leaders or your money managers want to know how your troop did or how you did on digital cookie or anything like that. These reports are really helpful. Okay, so I'm going to take a little pause and double check the chat and see if we have any eBuddy questions. Which feel free to unmute yourself.
Hey, Emma, I think the first one was about another just-in-time training about initial orders. It's a first-time troop leader, and they're a little lost on how much to order for booth sales.
Oh, I got you. So, and really, we don't have a definitive like percentage or like numbers to pull or calculation that we use. I would definitely say, which honestly, if there's any veteran TCMs on this call right now and you have like a way that helps your troop figure it out really easy, definitely feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. But that is something I'm hoping to add to our just-in-time training about the initial order so that you can get that in time to then make your booth order. But I would say it really depends on a couple of factors. Like if your troop plans on doing booths right at the very beginning, if you're gonna have independent booths, if not, you have plenty of time to pick up from a reorder location before council sponsored booths begin. So basically it's a bunch of different factors. I don't have a good answer for you, but we are working to find other people's answers that then we can use as samples or examples for how other troops do it. So again, if you are a veteran TCM and you want to shoot me an email with how you figure it out, or if you have a spreadsheet, definitely feel free to do that right now because I do not have a good answer for you. Okay, I'm gonna
The one about how long does eBuddy take to update with pickup only users, I think I got answered, but if I didn't fully answer it, just let us know, Karen. Kimberly asked about the CCMs and their booth reports. They do have several booth reports to be able to see who has requested a booth and who has signed up for council booths. So that is on the CCM level, and it's only the troops within their community. So just as a heads up on that.
Right. I know that they have all those reports, but those reports are not easy to access. And sometimes it has to be emailed to you and that kind of stuff. I mean, we've always been asking, on the booth site page, how like a troop can click on it and it shows their troop number. For community cookie managers, it would be awesome if it would list the troops, even if it's just our community, if it would list the troops on there so we can see who's supposed to be at a booth at a particular time without having to go in and request a report that sometimes has to be emailed to us and that kind of stuff. It would just be so much easier if it would list the troop numbers right there on that page. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The reports, though, you shouldn't have to have that emailed to you. It should just be right in eBuddy to be able to regenerate and just look at any time. But yeah, I see what you mean. Just having a live feed, maybe something that says the day of so that you don't have to scroll and it just refreshes with the day for. Yeah, I'll take that back to the developers.
Like when we go in, if we click on a location, say we click on HEB and just, look at that day. And, if your troop has one reserved, then it'll show your troop number there. Mm-hmm. But if it would just allow us to see who has that slot, it like I said, it would just make it so much easier for us. And I know not all the reports have to be emailed to you, but there's different ones. We've tried different ones. And it's not an easy process, really. It'd be so much easier if it would just show the troop number that has that slot reserved.
Yeah, I'll go play with it, and then I'll make this suggestion up to Becky. Emma is able, and anybody at the council office is able to make suggestions through a survey link we have each season. So we'll definitely make sure that gets on the list.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, and I'll also, Kimberly, look at the tools that the CCMs are given in eBuddy and see if there is an easy way of utilizing the reports that are already there, so that if we probably won't have an immediate change, so that there is like maybe a tool, because I'm not super familiar with the CCM reports that are available to you, so I probably need to fix that for myself.
And the last one, I think, Emma, was, so it was said one girl and a related person for booths. If, say, a girl's parent got sick and they were only related group, can a background checked volunteer jump in instead of canceling the booth for all the girls?
Yes, yeah. And I would say definitely have that unrelated adult bring on their Girl Scout too, and have it be the 2 and the 1 for sure. That's totally acceptable, yeah. It's just a good rule of thumb that if you have any volunteers where they're gonna be around another girl that they are not related to, they should have that background check. So as long as they do, they can be around the unrelated girls for a non-supervised activity.
Hey, Emma, I'm sorry, this is Emiko. I had a question just to clarify what you just said. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then you're saying that to have a 2 girl and 1 adult, but would you not need 2 adults if it's not a related girl?
So it always, okay, people love to play numbers. I would also say when you think about how many adults or girls you should have at a booth, you also have to think like, are the girls young? Are they old? What happens if a girl needs to go to the bathroom? What happens if an adult needs to go to the bathroom? So I would say like, if you had 2 older girls and you knew that they would be set for the entire 2-hour period and you weren't going to have any funky things happen, you could have 1 adult and two girls at a booth. But I would never do that with daisies or brownies or some girls where like every single hour they'll need to go to the bathroom or need supervision to not run out the street and stuff like that. So I would definitely say like it really depends on everyone's situation. But if you are battling between unclaiming a booth that you really wants to do and that you have a girl who she's really set to do it versus canceling it or keeping it, I would say it could be acceptable to have 1 adult with that background check and membership to be there with those 2 girls. So again, it just goes with what the situation is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because I just know for us as a troop, what we've done, if that were the case, then we would actually ask for a 2nd adult, because now we have,
Yeah, which and
Uh,
that's the thing is like
yeah.
that's your troop and you know your troop really well.
Yeah.
So again, like what I'm saying, like if you have older girls, if they're senior ambassadors and they're basically running their booths by themselves at this point, then you can have just one adult. But again, like if you have younger girls or daisies or brownies that need more supervision or help, or you know they may need to go to the bathroom halfway through, then yeah, you would want that second adult there so you aren't left high and dry. Yes. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to go over some cookie program resources that are available to y'all so that you know they're there. And then we'll have plenty more time for other questions, other conversations, anything like that. Okay. So the first off is the last tab on the eBuddy website, and it is the Help Center. So this has a lot of really great info as how to do stuff in eBuddy, and it also has other info and resources from our council. So this is a really great place to come if you have questions about eBuddy, if you're having difficulty, or if you just want to check it out and see what's available to you from that page. Next up, we have our Cookies Plus program material webpage. So it does take a couple clicks to get to it, but if you go to the Cookies Plus, under the cookie sellers, it is called Program Materials. And it has a lot of really great resources, including almost all of our online forums. You have access to your TCM companion. If we make any updates to the companion, it's also listed on this webpage. And it also has links to the girl permission slip, digital cookie guides. It's where we'll be putting our webinar recordings, all of that good stuff. So definitely, I would recommend that you come to this page, you bookmark this page at least for the next 3-4 months, and that you check it out if you have any questions, concerns, and also encourage your parents to check it out because it does have a section for them, and it does have a section for almost all of our program materials. So you really could go virtual using our website if you need it. Oh, there we go. Next up, which maybe hopefully y'all have been to this page before, but it's just the volunteer page on the Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas website. So again, this is a really helpful, I find it really helpful, and so I bet a volunteer would as well. In addition to the stuff we already had before COVID, we've added a bunch of virtual resources. So there's a virtual meeting resource, which you can kind of see in this drop down right here. And it has a really helpful guide from the Girl Scouts of Central Texas as to how to adapt to your troop meeting to be virtual, the different tools that you can use and what would be best for your troop. So definitely encourage you to use that. And then in addition to that one, to the virtual meeting resource, we also have the volunteer toolkit, which I'll talk about in just a second. And we have new troop leader blueprints. And so those are grade level specific. And it's just really helpful to, take a little work off of planning your meetings and planning your troop virtual get-togethers and stuff like that. It has a lot of really great things specific to years. In addition, it's not on this page, but in addition to those cookie program family meeting guides that I mentioned previous, those are really great as well. And we'll have those up on our Cookie Plus webpage pretty soon too. So at this point, you might be drowning in virtual resources, but we are really hoping that they are helping you adapt and keep your troop up and going. So the Sally Cheever Girl Scout Leadership Center Resource Center is currently open for curbside pickups. So they do have a section on the volunteer webpage of info of how to place an order, when to place an order, when for pickup, all of that good stuff, as well as their menu of kits that are available right now. So definitely recommend that you go and check out that section of the volunteer page, especially if you want to check out any of the kits that they have, or they are also going to have cookie badge kits that will be available, they told us, beginning next week. And they will also have booth kits that they will have beginning for reservation on Friday, January 1st. So if your troop is interested in using any of the booth kits or the badge kits, definitely check out their webpage maybe sometime next week so that you can get full information. And then we have the volunteer toolkit. So this is really helpful because they have badge guides, and then they also have different suggestions of how to do it virtually. So I would definitely recommend that you use this if you don't want to check out any of the badge kits from the Resource Center. These will definitely help you plan how to implement cookie badges and programmatic aspects to your program, so it's not just all about cookie sales, and girls are actually able to get that 5 essential skill learning and earn those badges in addition to their cookie program. And then lastly, here are just some topics that will be covered on future just-in-time webinars that we may have kind of glossed over today. So initial cookie order submission, an initial cookie order pickup, and then definitely I'll add to this list how to forecast your initial order booth order. I'll add that so we can get that added in. We will also talk about cookie distribution and the importance of receipts. We'll talk about cookie booths, and then at those webinars, we will also provide any cookie program updates that we can at those times. So again, like I mentioned before, our past webinar recordings will be available on GS Learn and the Cookie Plus program material webpage. So I will try to record the first half of this that I missed out on so that we have a complete webinar, but our recordings will be available on GS Learn and on our webpage. We try really hard to have them available within 48 hours. So if it's not, it won't be tomorrow, and if it's not tomorrow, it'll probably be Monday. So, but I'm really hoping to have that up as quick as possible. Okay, so then I'm gonna go check the chat one more time. And if you do have any questions or concerns, definitely feel free to unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. Let me see. Okay, so Patsy asked about the cookie costumes and then going over girls' heads. I do not know the answer to that question because the cookie kits are created and all of that is done by troop support or the people in the Resource Center. So I'm not quite sure what their process is for that, or even if they will be including the cookie costumes this year. So they may not, they may just be including the, in the kit, in addition to just the cookie costume is, I think there is a tablecloth, there is a pom-pom, I'll see what else is in there, but I think they may not be including the cookie costume due to COVID. And if they do, then I would assume that they have a cleaning procedure that they will do in between the kits being checked out. But yeah, oh, definitely, yeah. And this is the year for crafty moms, I think. I really, DIY cookie costumes, DIY booth decor. I really think this is the year to tap into those creative minds that you have in your troop. Okay, well, if you have any questions.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
When are we supposed to get the emails for eBuddy that we can log in?
Yeah, so those will, so deadline is the 17th, and then you should be receiving your email on the 18th. So probably that morning.
Okay, so even if we've already completed everything, you guys are going to do everything after the due date?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to go in there and see the booth listings so that if we, like if we have an idea, we can see if it's an independent versus a council approved one, so we can figure that out ahead of time.
Yes, and I would also say if you are, because I do not know if there will be booths in immediately when you get in. So if you do have any questions about a specific booth, you can always email us with the locations that you're thinking of doing, and we can tell you if historically they are on our list or not. So yeah, definitely feel free to do that, especially because booths will probably not be listed until right before the first round. So definitely email us. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there an after hours, like the weekend number that we can call? Because I just remembered last year we had an approved booth. It was an independent and we put it in eBuddy, and there was another troop there that didn't have it in eBuddy and they refused to leave.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we left even though we got approval because we didn't want to argue.
No,
we just left, but my girls lost out on a booth.
Yes. There is an emergency after hour number. So if you call our normal line, like our office, when you Google us, if you call that anytime we're closed, which even now I think we have the voicemail up where it gives the emergency number. I do not know it off the top of my head. But if you do call our normal line, you should be given that emergency number, and then you can call it, and it'll be any Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas staff member. And actually, I believe during February, it is a product program staff member only that holds that phone. So, and that's specifically for any instances like that where you might have to call them, which they know during February, it's typically about booths. So I will see about getting that emergency call, the emergency phone number, and see about various places that we could post that, so that if you are out and about and you do have an issue that arises, you are able to locate it and call that number if you need.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's like, Lauren and Nicole, write that down.
Emma, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
For the council booths in our community, are y'all going to be contacting the ones that we've always had year after year, or do we need to go to them and have them fill out the forms again?
I would say these smaller non-premier booths, definitely feel free to contact them and use the booth scheduling forms that we gave to the community cookie managers. I would stay away from Walmart's, HEB's, Lowe's, Joann's. I'm thinking like what's in your area, but I would stay away from all of those just for the time being. But the smaller non-premier ones, or any additional booths that you think would be good, definitely now would be the time to contact the council sponsored, because we're about to begin contacting them. So if you do it, if not, we'll do it. But yeah, definitely you can do non-premier. Those ones are safe. Yay.
Emma, this is Debbie. Hi. You probably answered this, and I was trying to get out of work, and
that's okay.
I was trying to work and do this at the same time. But when do each of the girls in the troop get access to eBuddy? What was that date again?
Sorry, Monique from the shop is calling me. Girls and parents won't get access to eBuddy. It'll just be troop cookie managers. But for digital cookie, I believe the access date for volunteers is the 7th of December, and access for girls and parents is the 9th of December. I want to say it's like a couple days before our go date. Then it'll open for girls and parents. And for digital cookie, the parents will get an email inviting them to come join the site when it does open.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Emma, this is Rogerlyn. I have a question for you about the booths. Like you said, there's certain booths that we can't acquire because you guys the council is going to communicate. But if it was a private business or a small business that council does not have in their list, can we approach and bring that paper and get it signed and just send it? Who do we send it to? Do we send it to customer service, or do we send it directly to you?
No, I'd send it to customer care. We love things sent to customer care just so we can track, and if, let's say, I fall off the face of the earth someday, the future PPD staff can continue on. So definitely send it to customer care. And I'll do kind of a PSA. If you are interested in helping council secure any council sponsored booths, so those would be booths that other troops could also potentially get, we do have a booth scheduling packet that we can provide to you it has like an FAQ, it has a letter to the business, and it has our booth scheduling form for council sponsored. I can send those. It's a little different than the independent booth agreement, and it would be for council sponsored booths. So every year we do definitely encourage troops to do their own independent booths, but then we also ask that if there are volunteers who want to assist our poor team of 3 people secure council sponsored booths for other troops, we will more than take that help. The only thing is, again, I'll provide you with the packet if you want via PDF. But then, and if you need a list, I can give you like a short list of booths in your area that we have historically gotten. And I would also say a good rule of thumb is if you do want to help us out with this, just avoid any big box stores and do any small business locations. And then for this year, we are trying really hard to see how many drive-through booths we can, just because we've seen it's worked for other councils really well. And so we're hoping that that will be another tool that we can use to pivot and make it a little bit safer for our girls and volunteers and member families.
Okay. Can you do, if you have a chance, can you please send me that listing so I can take a look at it? Thanks.
Definitely, yeah.
Rosalind, are you in Community W?
Yes.
Are you with 160?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Whenever we get together to pick up your program materials, we can talk about all that, because I know we have a lot of places in our area that where they always allow us to do, we do there every year. So we can.
Thanks, Kimberly. I was waiting for Michelle to send you guys the message that you guys are supposed to contact me, and haven't had any emails. So I don't know if because I had to do the training and I finished all the training. So I don't know. They said it takes 24 to 48 hours to show in your side.
Okay, real quick. Are you on our Community W Facebook page?
No, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. Do you use Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell you what, if you can you write down my phone number and you can text me and I'll get you on there?
Would you like to just message me privately your phone number, or is it okay to say it out here?
Everybody here in Girl Scouts knows my number.
Okay, that's fine.
It's 210-317